here are a few useful tips and tricks found in the recent update of Guts and Blackpowder. The medic. When players have just respawned, you can heal them to the point when you hear the first squeak. After you have heard this, you can jump to cancel the animation. This will still heal the players to full health, however it will only work with surgeon kit only, so make sure you equip it. By using the prompt to heal the players before they accept your heal, if you quickly switch to your sword when you go into the healing animation, you will have your sword equipped. Not only is this a bit of a funny glitch, but you can also use it to stop any zombies from grabbing you and interrupting your healing animation, thus making it quite useful. When playing as the medic with a box of bandages, every 5 waves or rounds, your box of bandages will reset. However, your previous box that you placed won't be there anymore. Each bandage box contains around 7, I think. I don't know, I'm too dumb to know. The classes. The best class for damage, in my opinion, would either be infantry, officer, or seaman, primarily because they all have their unique weapons that can perform different advantages. However, a brief overview of it would be the officer is useful for the charge ability, the seaman is very used for close combat and is highly effective weaponry, and the infantry is quite good for the quick attack ratio output. All in all, these 3 classes are very good for the best practice and also improving your tactics. The worst class would probably have to be the priest, only because of the weapon. The cooldown on the crucifix isn't too bad, but it is quite low. The blessing option doesn't really provide that much. I get it, you know, he's a priest and all, but like, you've got to give him some sort of advantage, and I guess it would probably only be the crucifix. Personal preference, it's, yeah, the priest is quite bad. The best weapon. The best weapon, in my opinion, would probably have to be the heavy saber, only for it to be very useful for like any sort of swinging motion, like up, down, left, right. The range on it is absolutely exceptional. The fact it can like one-tap zombies in the head sometimes is quite brutal. Obviously, there's some honorable mentions like the saber and the revenant, but only because it doesn't really provide as much damage output as, say, the heavy saber does. But for all classes, it would probably have to be the saber. The worst weapon. Obviously, a lot of people would probably say the stake would probably be a very bad weapon, but there's one that's even worse, the delicious leg. This, however, only gives you like 10 attack per swing. You don't get any headshot multiplier. It's actually a slower swinging rate than the stake as well, and it's just crap. Like, there's not really a good advantage point about it, except I guess you can use it for every class. The easiest map. The easiest map isn't actually decidable, basically because there's 2: Vardaho Fortress and Leipzig, or Leipzig, whatever you want to call it. They're both really good in their aspects because they're quite small maps, easy to do, and actually gives you a lot of frank, to be fair. The easiest map I'd probably say in terms of endless would probably be La Ferme or Hogemont, however you pronounce it. The one that's H, and it's an endless map. Basically because these 2 have a quite good height advantage. Basically, it gives you the opportunity to avoid the zombies quite well. I actually got the 20 wave solo achievement on La Ferme anyway. The hardest map. The hardest map by far is Copenhagen. I don't care what anyone else says, Copenhagen is just such a bad map. No upside to it, it's just dark. That one section where the objective is to pour water onto the attic just needs to be removed. I'm sorry, but nobody enjoys that, and it's just so demeaning. San Sebastian is actually quite a good map, I will admit, and I'll openly say that, but the only downside being is it's quite a long campaign map, and it doesn't really give off like that much enjoyment. Like, people just want to hop into a game, finish it within like 10-15 minutes and then just go. Asan can sometimes reach up to about like 20-30 minutes, and it's quite long. The worst endless map would probably have to be Tyrolean Village. It doesn't give you a lot of variety to move. You're very limited to where you can stay to try and survive 20 waves, or like just survive waves in general. But yeah, you're basically only playing this map just to troll people or just become dinner for the zombies. The hidden advancements. So there was 4, but there's now 5 hidden advancements in total. I'm not going to go through a step-by-step tutorial on how to do the 20 wave solo achievement. There's so many guides out there. The John Marston achievement is actually one that I've not even got yet. Basically, you need to go into a private server. Basically, from this now, you'll need to have the server admin or whoever the owner is. You need them to actually do the /Marston. You literally just have to be that character from the start of the map to the end of the map without dying. Mean to say that as long as you do this in a single life, you're fine. The rest of them are pretty self-explanatory, like the one where you kill 10 zombies with a grenade. Take a character that has grenades enabled. You'd go up to them while still holding the grenade. You cannot let go of this grenade. You cannot let them grab you, because if they do, you do not get the advancement. The other one where it's untouchable, it's pretty easy, it's self-explanatory. You have to make sure that you also get 200 kills, heal 5 players, or use the crucifix 5 times. So you have 3 options, but you have to do that in one life. You also have the new one, which is the Revenant, but I've basically already said about this in my previous video. If you want to go have a look at that, I'll leave a link for it here now. But basically all you need to do is you need to complete the Sleepy Hollow map, and you also need to complete the boss map in one life. Whenever you're being a music class, the fife will always boost people who are using like muskets and blunderbusses and everything like that. If you're using the fife, it will help them reload faster. When you're the drummer, it will help people increase their speed when they swing. The bugle is used for damage output over the course of 20 seconds. I don't know if that's changed since I've last looked at it. The British Regiment Piper actually increases build speed. Mean to say that when you're a sapper placing down a barricade or stakes or anything like that or whatever, it actually helps them build it faster. The officer's charge ability, if you're an infantry and you're using the heavy saber, the musket or the lance, when that charge is enabled, you insta-kill with any of those 3 weapons. When people do actually first start playing this game, they will start to realize that you can't actually obtain the chaplain or the priest straight away. That is because it's actually unlocked via an achievement called Soldier's Grace. This achievement, you have to save 150 teammates from being grabbed, kill 75 runners pinning your teammates, heal 50 teammates over 50 times, as the medic obviously, and obtain the badge Vos Entoman. When on San Sebastian, Barry will actually die, unfortunately. Rip Barry, rest in peace. But you actually have to go up there and crank the lift so the rest of the survivors can win, basically. I would also like to point out that Corp isn't necessarily a hard map, nor is it an easy map. It's one of those maps that, like, I would say Corp is like a bit of a difficult sort of like expert map because it's only got 1 respawn point, which is a little bit later on in the game as well. It's not as difficult as Copenhagen, and I will openly say that. And I would also just like to mention that Catacomb de Paris is actually a pretty easy map. Not necessarily one of those difficult ones, but it's like kind of mediocre. You do get a respawn point as well. You have to hold out for like, I believe 5 to 10 minutes. It's not that long, but it's, as long as you have like plenty of sappers, it's pretty easy as a map. I would also just like to point out some of the strongest weapons in the game. My personal favorite would probably have to be the carbine, although the musket is a really good one, and the HAP, horse artillery pistol, is also a really good one. The officer, I found that the brass pistol and the double barrel pistol are really good. The double barrel pistol is actually the fastest one in the game. The Seaman, the knotgun is really good for the boss. I really do approve of that, and clearing like a large amount of hordes. And the Navy pistol is a really good gun as well at the end of the day. The sapper is useful for when it comes to being defensive, as it can place barricades and spike traps which can easily build up zombies and kill them easily. The hammer utility allows you to create these barricades and also repair them when damaged. Not only this, but the axe and pickaxe weapons allow the sapper to stun enemies, allowing a 2 to 3 second time gap for easy kills. The shovel is also a really good weapon to have, as it can enable the ability to entrench the barricades, making them more protected when it comes to bombers. Berezina, Russia, is also a different sort of objective. It is something called holdout. Now, this objective is a little bit different from the rest, as there's no real objective. However, there is a couple of priorities. Say this little place, for example, where the horses is, there's logs and this, that and the other. You need to gather these logs and you need to build a bridge to the other side of the map. Now, it sounds all easy and hunky-dory. However, you need 5 different logs in order to make one little progress. See this, for example, where they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The rest of the logs that actually makes the path actually makes it go along. However, you need to make the bridge. This as a whole isn't necessarily a difficult map. You just have to have the right team. I will, however, say take this with a pinch of salt because it can go from bad to worse very quickly. The only advice I can give, the exact moment that the horse carriage leaves after dropping off all the logs, run into the church and just barricade. That is where I found it be the easiest, and I found it just been relatively simple from there on out. However, other than that, good luck. I would just like to say a massive shout out to the Guts and Blackpowder community. It was because of them that this video was possible. Massive shout out and massive thanks to those who actually contributed to the tips and tricks. And yeah, that's about it. Subscribe if you enjoyed.